Our next public witness and final member of this panel is Peter Wood.
Ready when you are. So I'm Peter Wood. I'm a resident of Ward 1, and I think everything that I've wanted to say mostly has been said, but I'll speak a little bit about my experiences. I don't want to take too long of a time. I know that has been a long day for all the people attending and Councilmember Bombs and other people. One suggestion looking forward to avoid long meandering meetings like this is to pass better legislation. But anyway, not to be antagonistic, I do want to focus on a couple other points. One, just like my path to DC, I think is kind of typical, and then it's atypical. I've wanted to live in the city for so long, and I've only until recently barely been able to afford to do so. I've had family in the area. Over a decade I've spent visiting, even working summers here. It wasn't until I went to graduate school, got a doctorate, studied, ironically enough, urban development participation in excluded populations, and then finally got a job that was still significantly below the median household income in DC, that I was able to just scrape by and get a place where I have 7 roommates in addition to 3 other housemates in a neighborhood that puts me in some sort of proximity to places that I can maybe take public transit to work sometimes. And I don't say that looking for credit for my past behavior. I say that because it's incredibly expensive to live in the city, and this is no secret. But if someone who's had quite a bit of things go in their favor, like I have, has that much difficulty, I can only imagine how it must be for so many other people. Now, having such good fortune fall in my favor, I think it'd be a disservice if I don't try to use that to the advantage of others who haven't been so lucky. And that's one of the many reasons I've spent quite a bit of time, just like this committee and the council, I hope, speaking to a lot of my neighbors. And I've done quite a bit of just simple conversation on the street and also phone calls and video calls during this pandemic with lots of people that are quite frankly scared. And it's very difficult. During that process, I actually decided to run for an ANC position, and I won. I was lucky. And one of the things that's been so hard in that process is people saying to me, what do? I don't know where I might be able to live, or I currently don't have a place to live, and I sleep on this plaza. And I hear all of the examples of times I've reached out to my elected officials and no one has acknowledged that I exist, let alone done anything to even listen to the things I have to say, let alone to be proactive to make sure that these people have a place to just call home and be safe, be warm, and be happy during the day and during the night. An ANC commissioner doesn't have very much weight in changing that, but I do think that it's the starting point of initiating the types of changes that the city needs and deserves. And I hope that this committee and the council and our city in general can do a better job of making our status quo something that isn't dictated by money, but is dictated by goodwill, that is dictated by just the humanity of treating each other like human beings who deserve to live in dignity, to not have to beg for scraps, but to be able to be happy. The dynamics of real estate, I'm just about done. The dynamics of real estate in this city and this world are not equal forms of injustice. A person who has the ability to own property, and I totally understand that there can be very difficult tenants. I've often been their roommate, but the difficulties that you encounter as a landlord are privileges. If a landlord has something go against the grain, they still have, in many cases, a place to call home for themselves. If something goes against my own or the just well-being of someone else who is not in that position just as a tenant, quite frankly, those lives are often in danger. Those are not the same types of injustices, not the same types of inequality. So yeah, I'm not trying to be accusatorial. I'm trying to join the many hundreds, if not thousands, if we had more time, of people to come together and hope for a more just policy. Thanks for letting me go over time, and have a great evening.